While we await the 100-meter sprint, we had a chance earlier to talk to the sprinters in this race and ask them what should be done about Ben Johnson and his world record.
As a fellow athlete to Ben Johnson, I don't feel like he deserves the chance to compete again on the basis of he did something illegally that he didn't necessarily have to do or was forced to do or needed to do to compete well. And I think when an athlete does things illegal to better themselves and in the meantime hurting other athletes, I think they should be banned from competing forever.
I don't think that anyone who's been caught on steroids should be banned for life, but I do believe there should be a punishment for what they've done, because it's not fair for athletes who are not on drugs to go out there and compete against people who are on drugs.
He should be able to compete, but to an extent. I think that Ben should be allowed to compete in so many races, maybe 3 or 4 races for the whole year, not just, well, maybe a suspension for maybe 1 year.
I feel that he should be treated like anyone else that would, under those circumstances, and that's a 2-year ban.
I think if it's proven that Ben Johnson was taking steroids, and it has been admitted that Ben Johnson was taking steroids when he did break the world record, I think it should be scratched from the books.
It's not fair to the athlete for him to set a world record on drugs, and, you know, the person who was clean should have the world record, no matter who it is.
I think that the small thing is the record, but the ultimate situation is that we want to stop drug use within our sport, and that's just a very strong statement against the uses of drugs by taking away a world record from an athlete who admitted that they once took them.
With Carl not running the 100 today, one of the 2 favorites has to be Dennis Mitchell, second in the Olympic trials, 4th in the Olympic Games in the 100 meters.
Andrés Cason preparing a little different way over in lane number 1 from Texas A&M.
Simón of Cuba in lane 2, world indoor champion. He's a good starter.
It'll be Mitchell in lane 3.
Mitchell says he has to be aggressive to sprint well. He's got his game face on. Look at the difference, the contrast to Raymond Stewart, 2-time NCAA champion. He's relaxed. He says, I like to have fun at the starting line.
Mark Witherspoon in lane number 5.
American champion back in 1987. Out in lane 6, Joel Isasi of Cuba. You know, Tim, I agree with the athletes who say Ben Johnson should be let back in when he serves his 2-year suspension. His record should go, though. International track officials should stop dragging their feet on this issue.
All right, Craig, let's watch lanes 3 and 4. Mitchell in 3, Stewart in 4. Good start. Mitchell and Lewis both off well. Mitchell in green, Stewart right with him. Stewart moving ahead slightly of Mitchell, and it'll be Ray Stewart at the wire. Mitchell second just behind.
A shade over 10 seconds, although it looks like it's wind aided. Stewart, a good victory for him. You know, if track and field had a draft, this is a guy I would have picked number 1 a long time ago. An Olympic finalist at age 19 back in Los Angeles. He finally seems to be realizing his potential, and I think you can see why. He was the guy who was so relaxed at the finish line. Mitchell was so aggressive, and he uses his aggression early in the race to get out ahead. But the last 20 meters of his race, he loses his form. Look at the high knees of Raymond Stewart. This is where he takes control right through the finish line.
Okay, Craig, you're looking at a trio that should be the future in the 100 meters. In the middle, the winner, Ray Stewart of Jamaica.